judging through the action here as it's time to see if EG can recover after the surprising loss versus Complexity.
Always ready indeed, Alex. And here we are. Kevin, Magnus, behold the horn. What do you think? Are you feeling it?
I mean, it definitely has a lot of great potential. Magnus is going to amplify everything that Black does in terms of farm. So if Faceless can try to keep equal and get into the stagnant mid game, it's definitely going to give them a lot of advantage.
All right, well, let's find out if they're able to stall. Let Black get his farm. He had that look of pure excitement, pick me anti-mage, pick me anti-mage.
Yeah.
And I know what he was saying because I sat with him at TI3 after his team got eliminated, and he just every game was the perfect anti-mage game. So,
dude, I sat with him on a Manila Major panel, and he said anti-mage every single draft. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure they just picked the anti-mage to shut him up, if nothing else.
It happened eventually, I think, but
he certainly does love the hero. So, obviously, with this pick, you've got Fatal Bonds, RP, a melee DPS in the anti-mage that can do a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. What was I saying? Talking about 10 minute. They would get to about the 10-minute mark, and they would always be very behind in farm on their 3 cores. It would be 2 cores way out ahead on the enemy team, and they would be 1,000, 2,000 net worth behind on all of their heroes. So there's clearly a laning problem going on. It's not necessarily individual skill. Could be how are they efficient during their rotations to put more pressure on the enemy team, and
this was where they really excelled. If for anyone who watched the Summit 6 online qualifiers, how Faceless performed in other online events leading into that, they would get the Undying, they would get the Warlock, and they would just crush the lanes with these 2 heroes. They were probably 2 of their most preferred. The Nyx for Ice was, I would say, his most successful hero over the last 2 months. Overall, obviously, he plays a great Timbersaw.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a deep hero pool, but this was the hero they turned to the most. So, if anything is their bread and butter, win the lanes and snowball from there, it is this Undying Nyx duo with a Warlock to support the safe lane. So,
that's
to
really
me, it's
important.
the dream scenario for them.
Yeah, and all the other games, they first picked Ogre, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. I think Warlock's the better hero for doing a very similar thing, maybe not as good at mid-pressuring, but provides a lot to your lane, and then it can transition into team fights, something where Ogre falls a little bit more flat. So I think this method is a lot better.
All right, well, let's see how it works out. On the other side, you have EG, a lot of mobility, a lot of ways to interrupt combos here, whether it's a relocate out on the hero who does get RP'd, Burrow Strike, as well as the Lion's multitude of disables. These could prove to be a thorn in the side of Faceless if they have a good start in there. They're going to put Universe on the offlane Sand King, but he's going to have some help here. Zai will be dual laning with him. I imagine we'll see Crit head towards bottom to help Arteezy a bit. That will leave the TA in mid. So thoughts on the way EG is setting up these lanes, and how do you feel Faceless is going to match up against
I like the IO dual lane. I feel like Warlock is going to match up against that really well, though. On the bright side, there isn't that much harass coming against AM. It'll be things like Caustic Finale. Definitely worth it to get an early point in his magic resistance skill, and that coupled with Warlock healing, I think he's going to be okay there. In the mid lane, I feel like Sumail's easily going to outplay Jabs here. Just your matchup looks pretty good. He's very unlikely to die unless he gets the skewer into tower. So as a whole, EG's looking pretty good for 2 of those lanes, I feel. And then in the safe lane, Lifestealer plus a Lion, that's going to be the weaker one, I think, especially if Undying spends a lot of time down there.
Arteezy, he's already skilled Feast, so they know they can bully him a bit. No rage. Get out of a potential impale. You can see Sumail. I think every lane I've seen him in so far this event, he's done really well. Even lanes where he looks slightly disadvantaged or doesn't get help. I mean, he is known as the king of mid when it comes to just individual mechanics and dominating lanes early, though. As I say that, I'm probably going to jinx him. We'll get skewered into tower and die.
Yeah, it's always something that you got to worry about, and maybe something that happened in the last series as well. A team that they're expecting to beat, are they going to play at full skill potential? So he's going to fish for it occasionally. Even if he misses those, he's got a 30-second cooldown, doesn't cost him that much mana. He's just going to try to be competitive using Empower and get as many last hits. And right now he's doing a little bit worse, but still doing semi-okay.
Yeah, I like the early point in Empower. But I have even seen a mag or two max this over the Shockwave, but Shockwave's a pretty damn good nuke, so
Yeah, it really is.
would be surprised if Japs went all in there.
And another reason it's super important is because they don't have the best skills to combo with Fatal Bonds. There's nothing really easy like Starstorm hits 5 heroes, or Shockwave is maybe the best version of that they have in their lineup just because of anti-range. Oh, AM ulti, that could be really good.
Yeah, like later on, but the AM ulti is not all that scary at level 1. Only 0.6 damage per point of mana missing, and the mana pools are going to be a lot lower, so...
Yeah.
Black getting harassed quite a bit here top, is still CSing well though, and has the Warlock to sustain him. They are going to move XY back down to crit. You could try to pressure this Lion a little bit.
That's definitely a great thing to pressure, and one reason that Lion just doesn't get picked very much is just because he's definitely very greedy. He doesn't contribute as much to the laning stage as a lot of other heroes do. Like, he got Decayed there, he's down to 460 HP, normally he'd be around 500. If this was an Ogre, he'd be at 600 base, or if it was a Warlock, he'd be at 600 base. It's all this advantage that you get just from being level 1, and Lion just doesn't have that, so it's going to be a tough lane for him to not die in.
Oh, there's a lot about the Impale and the creep wave here. But Ice might try to have a go at him. I would like to see like some boots, maybe an Oov. I feel like they could really run crit down with that. But for now, just content to harass.
I think they're slightly lacking on damage is the only thing. XY is going to be doing more damage than the Undying will. He's mostly just going to be trading hits with Lion, trying to keep the focus on him instead, so that Ice can farm, because normally we don't even see a Nyx Assassin get this many last hits. He's up to 12 already. That's a really good start. Very similar to what Sand King's doing, slightly better, but Sand King always does better.
And EG really starting to ramp up the aggression in these lanes. You can see 4 CS on the line, and then all 3 cores in the CS chart, so early lanes looking good with Mag not able to do much to shut down TA in a 1v1. You wouldn't expect that. And then, of course, I guess the big surprise, Arteezy having a really good time bottom, despite being up against the Undying. They're not able to pressure him.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I guess he's pretty good at trading against an Undying. You know, even if he does get his HP lower, he's always going to lifesteal when he hits, so... got a good spot right now. It's really going to come down to the rotations for Faceless. If this path continues where they're getting outlaned a little, it might be a small amount, but if EG is able to use heroes like IO and Lion to rotate around the map and secure kills, then Faceless is going to get really behind, especially if the pressure on the AM continues.
Speaking of the IO, Zai heads towards the top rune. Universe being left alone, but you know, not a fun lane for Anti-Mage, though he is CSing. At the Reign of Health. He's gotten through that really rough part of the lane where you've limited regen, but constantly under Caustic harass. It is a level 2 Caustic, Universe leveling it up. The skewer back mid though. Jabs finding Opium Sumail, not quite in power range.
Kind of like the illusion rune here, just because it breaks his shield instantly. Yeah, easy harass, but I'm sure Sumail's doing fine. He's got already at 30 CS, definitely the top leader. Dev's having trouble being competitive with only 18 last hits on himself now. He's going to purchase boots up, and just looks like a bottle refill rotation here by XY.
I mean, given the way the lanes are going, are there any adjustments you want to see out of Faceless? They're not really shutting down the lifestealer. Their AM's doing well, but he's not free farming. TA is free farming. Should they be making moves?
I don't know if it's too easy to do that is the problem. A Warlock rotation could be good since it breaks refraction, but I think it's much more likely they just do what they're doing until Ice hits 6, and that's when the ganks have to start working.
Well, he's getting good levels here. Already almost level 5 in the bottom lane. Now he's been left alone. He did opt for the Oov.
Okay.
So they have a little more chasing power, though. Not so much against Arteezy with the completed phase boots. And it's actually EG going to move first. Zai's TP'd in. And they're going to make a go on Ice. There's the open wound to start. Rage to follow, mauling him, but not dead just yet. Healed up by the Undying. Kept alive, they turned back for the Undying, but he's stolen a lot of strength. Pretty damn tanky. Another decay. Next heat only on Zai, not enough. And he will get the first blood.
It was really well done by both teams there. That was the right person to stun for Ice because the last next disable was coming from crit. And I think the Undying played that well also, healing up Ice, but they spread out at the last moment when Undying got a bit low when he wasn't able to decay multiple heroes. So,
and that was really good by EG just to oh, speaking of nice spreads, EG just forcing Ice to split the wickets here. He goes for the 2-hero play, he gets nothing. They might be able to run him down with Tether move speed. Nyx has a lot of regen, but is it going to be enough? 2 more auto attacks, they get the kill. All of that set up by a dodge. Now crit on Zai, they'll spread and split again. Shockwave off the mark, the Tether out from Zai, uses the Fog of War in the Roshan pit, and gets away. Easy escape. EG supports styling on Faceless.
That was so well done by Zai. I didn't even think, I thought he was just giving up. He thought he was going to go for a Roche hit or something, but instead they spread out. They don't get hit by the double AoE, and he gets the Tether out last second.
Well, that's just a pure outplay, honestly.
Yeah. genuinely is. I really felt like Undyne was going to get that one. So early roam from him. He's got 0 last hits. He does have some good lane impact. I think he's been doing a good job, but you know, getting a kill occasionally, especially against those two supports, the IO and the line, it's quite easy to kill at least one of them as an Undyne, but those guys have just been playing so safe.
Already, Sumail starting to farm the Ancients very early to grab the Blightstone. We'll be working towards that Deso eventually. They might even give this lane to a support, we'll have to see though. For now, mid is shoving in. We'll have to see if he just continues farming Ancients. Looks he will. So he's missed a couple CS in lane, but meanwhile, EG perhaps masking the real move. It's a 3-hero rotation top. Already Crit getting active. This reminds me a lot of how MMY used to play Lion, where he would move a lot earlier than expected, known as kind of a weaker laner, but he wouldn't really play in the lane. He would just constantly look to gank, and that's what we're seeing now from Crit.
And that's why this is so smart, because Black's not going to expect it here. Here's the first round, they're going to have a follow-up.
There's the Impale, well comboed, the Hex to boot, and Black still unable to blink out, but he will get out in the end. Vanguard first.
Yeah. 100%. That guy was like 200% dead if it was for the Vanguard, but he knew what was going to happen. He knows that if he gets killed a little bit too much early, he's going to lose this game because he has to be the one to carry. So with the Vanguard pickup, yeah, slower Battle Fury, but now he's not dead right now, and he's still last hitting.
I was like, man, this AM is awful tanky.
Yeah, me too. I was so surprised. I was so dead, but Epicenter ends, he's still got 30% HP and he gets out. It's a great choice there.
Also gives a bit of extra room here to Ice bottom. So the level 6 that you mentioned that he needs to start moving with. Coming soon. Jabs did go for the second point in Empower previously, but now is maxed out the Shockwave. No RP yet. I suppose not all that useful until you have a way to set it up.
I'm sure he would love it right now. Would give him a pretty easy kill. Oh, he gets it. He's been saving the point.
Yeah, skewer back, grabs Crit, and there you go. Flying on the board.
Okay. A little tricky play there by Jabs. Really nice that he got an invis. A little unlucky there for Crit, but you know, it's only a level 4 support, so it's going to give him some gold, but it won't really accelerate Magnus super hard.
Yeah, like you said, really good patience to hold that last skill point right as he clips 7. Well, bottom, Arteezy getting active on Ice. Won't be able to kill him. Threatens him, trying to force a TP, perhaps.
Yeah, he could have even wanded and gone in just with his ult, but that would have been really bad for him since he does want to use that for ganking pretty soon. So it's going to grab this last creep wave, possibly hit 7, and I expect he'll go back to base after if he doesn't die here.
Oh, Zai looking for it. Giving him those little balls of light. Not going to continue pursue any further, but constant pressure on the Nyx. Ice. Going to have to go home now and heal up.
See where his first gank comes, and how EG reacts to this is really important. This is maybe one reason why we've seen Sumail just doing Ancients this whole time, up to 84 CS now. If he just farms in places that Faceless isn't really expecting him to be, then his chances of getting ganked there are a little bit lower.
He's already level 11 at 9.5 minutes, mind you.
That's actually incredible.
That's
and
absurd.
84 CS from Ancients.
Jabs is 8 for
good.
comparison.
Yeah, that's pretty...
But
and on top of that now, Crit is going to be able to take over mid if he wants. They will make a move here. Hex to start, Blink reveal, and now the Tether follow-up. They slaughter the Mag. Horn down. And at the 10-minute mark, going to hunt for a Ruin.
that was a really cool play. Normally, for a couple reasons. Like you said, Crit getting experience in the mid lane, so you expect him to be there. Him standing around doesn't really surprise you. The fact that Sumail not only is farming this stupidly fast, but he also went Blink first instead of Deso. Completely enables that gank, whereas if he goes Deso first, it would have been a lot harder to secure it. So a little bit of a change-up gives him a great kill on the mid hero.
And he's a great vehicle for Lifestealer because he's so far ahead, he can actually like dive bomb in and probably survive Dire with a money scan though, as they'll scout 3 heroes ganking top. Black maybe would have died, but now he should live though. Gotta stay out of Burrow strike range because they have the gap closed as Universe threatens to come in. Black immediately backs away. Instead though, Ice gonna reveal that. They drop Sentry, stays out of Sentry range, pokes his way in. Worming around. EG threatening that DD rune about to expire on Sumail though.
Yeah, Ice is
EG
so good.
will back off.
He could definitely do a spike Carapace reflect on the TA, and if he does that and stuns afterwards with a rock, they could definitely kill the TA. So safe that they didn't fight that one.
Still no relocate for Zai, so no way to disengage there.
So first rotation from Ice doesn't really do that much, but it does protect Black, which is still very important. And that's what Faceless should be doing a lot this game. Make sure that he gets farm, that he doesn't get ganked, that even though he did buy a Vanguard, that he's still going to transition rapidly into a good farming item.
I'm going to grab the treads now, I imagine. Yeah, treads complete. And there will be an Impale on the top lane, blinking on the Universe. They're going to engage aggressively onto the Sand Cane, but he tries to run away. Good timing on the Carapace there. Mana Void committed. He stops to hit creeps, and the burn damage from Nuts will finish him off.
That's a good move. The Mana Void looked really bad, but they just needed a bit more damage to actually push them over the edge, so big kill there.
They have relocate now, though. Do we see EG try and hold this tower?
Oh, they can't fight this, really. I mean, they've still got Golem here. I don't think it'll be safe. And Ice is Invis, so if there's a relocate and you get the double stun off, the fight's over. Because they'll have Fatal Bonds and an Inferno Golem on top of that.
Good news for EG is Faceless. They don't really push all that fast.
Yeah, that's true.
So Magnus still working towards his blink.
He was so close earlier, too, when he got ganked. I think he had like 1,600 gold. Now he decided, well, whatever. Not going to get the fast blink. Let's buy Arcanes.
Yeah, gets the Arcanes, and then I imagine still going to grab the blink. As you can't really count on Nyx to start fights, and Warlock as a support may end up dying before he's able to get in a good position. So overall, Kevin, it's been a bit back and forth, but AM being slowed down in terms of farm. EG support's getting a lot as we see a move on the mid lane. Jab, the blink chase, he has to RP to try and survive this one, bottling up. Big commitment just to live there. Was it worth it?
Yeah, Sumail he just plays mid like it's an art form. The way that he approached that, let the creeps get low. He didn't deny it instantly. He wanted to bait him in. And because that happened, he got like 2 to 3 hits on Magnus he wouldn't have had otherwise. And it allowed him to blink to pursue, force the RP defensively. And he didn't get the kill, but he was very, very close. He did it in a creative way. And now Magnus can't gank. So cool.
And now they're going to start making moves. Towards bottom, EG. Creeps arrive, they begin to dive, and they will find the setup here next play with the Hex initiation. Fun. Crit getting turned on rather rapidly. They try to keep him alive with the overcharge. Rotation's coming in though. Crit bit off more than he could chew. He'll go down. Now Black turning back for Zai. Does have the Mana Void available, but Black not gonna give chase. I'll let him go. Didn't have a whole lot of mana to blow him up with.
That's a really good turn there. They do get a ward down while they attempt that gank at least, so
there's some Golem ready. I guess EG might want to force this thing, and Arteezy threatening to run it.
It's difficult to go on lifesteal like this if he just presses his rage in time. Could be late. He could land this. They're little mind games here. Okay, not going to get it.
Not to mention there's also a relocate save, so
that's true.
Potentially could be a completely wasted rock.
Definitely not something you want to do. Nuts has been doing a great job of holding it. Waiting for the right moment, can't waste it, and with Magnus rotating now, Black's got the free battle.
They are going to turn off that rock, though. Moving on to Arteezy, he's raged currently on an island as the bio had run away, but he's pressed the siege creep.
Great choice. So he's hidden in here. They can't actually get him out of this unless Arteezy chooses to take control and run away, or it gets killed by creeps. So
unfortunately, it's at the back of the wave, so it's going to take a while. They could reset around this.
Maybe he comes out, but he's already
just having a snooze. Oh, Deso's up now. This could be bad if they stick around.
I think they're just going to trade, though. I mean, top tier 1 is pretty much just dying to creeps alone. Sumail can finish that off.
But they also got mid, so this is going to be a 2-for-1 tower trade, and they committed the rock.
Oh, Ice Ice outplayed him! There's no follow-up, so that was so sick.
Was it an outplay, though?
Kind of. Radiant used scan to check to see if anybody was still there, because he was scared, right?
Yeah.
And then he anticipated the pop-out, so he popped Spike Carapace so that the infest damage stunned him, and he could get the follow-up.
Yeah, but there's no way he's killing him solo.
You are completely right, but it was a super sick outplay.
That's just Ice showing how good he is.
Yeah,
but
for no reason, basically. Just to put fear in him.
Yeah, just purely mind games. But look at Black. Does look like he's skipping the Battle Fury entirely, Kevin. He goes Yasha. Now he does have Mag, so he can somewhat still farm quickly here with the Empower.
The problem is that Magnus becomes a bit of a courier system where he's like, oh, that 20-second duration skill is down for you? Well, I'm going to run across the whole map just to give you Empower so you can farm better.
Maybe disassemble your Arcane Boots, rush the BOTs,
yeah,
so you can just follow the AM around more easily.
Yeah, so it's a glorified Alchemist or something like that. He's going to get grabbed, though.
They're going to find him. Big Deso revealed by Sumail. Black goes splat. EG finds the pick-off they need.
Wow, he died so fast. They're going to still take the fight, though, surprisingly.
Trying to, anyway. Ice moving out. He gets clipped by a Burrow. Sumail chunking down Nuts, who doesn't yet have his access to his ultimate 50 seconds ago. Clipped by a stun. Will go down. Beautiful RP. But where's the follow-up damage? They simply don't have it. Arteezy turns it around, kills off the zombie man. Now chasing onto the Nyx's edge. And there's the Burrow from Universe. And the cleanup crew's in town. 4 fall. And they commit the RP. And they still lose the fight.
Their lineup is so strong together here. With Templar Assassin doing -7 armor with Deso and -8 with Meld. That's on top of what Lifestealer already has, and he didn't even have to get minus armor himself. So it's like he has all these free items just from fighting with the Templar Assassin. It's just amazing fight. It just really shows Anti-Mage is quite weak against physical damage, even with a Vanguard.
And that is the big downside to this build is, you know, one way to play the AM in this situation is to try to play the greedy route, right? Split push, avoid fights. But if he tries to fight head on, seems he can't win. So now he's neutered his own farm curve in order to try and survive and take fights, but at the same time still can't really take them. Now, if they have the golem and they have fatal bonds and they land the RP and there's a good mana void, like if all of that is perfect, maybe. Are they going to find that kind of a fight is really the question.
Yeah, it was honestly just perfect setup by them. They got to start the fight on the AM, and then they saw the Nyx Assassin. It didn't. The RP was beautiful, but by the time the RP came through, the Tombstone fell, so they didn't even at least get extra zombies out of it. Just not a good fight for Faceless. I kind of think they regret going in there.
And RP is a pretty long cooldown. 40 seconds still until it's ready. It's a golem up, but RP down. It's just starting to follow the AM around the map, but you compare that to EG, and they are spreading a lot more. RTZ push out the top lane, TA just farming mid, now going to clear the enemy woods, dropping on traps. They are playing a game that they know how to play very well. We saw that in their previous series against Complexity. If you give them room, they love to play the economy game down the stretch in the mid-game, build up like an hopefully insurmountable lead before they go for the big objectives, and already got an 8-9k gold lead. Similar on experience.
So 2k gold at least for Anti-Mage, and he's taking the 2-2. They're going to skewer his eye. Oh my god,
Jesus. Burrow Strike.
That's Templar Assassin, man.
Yeah, and then Sumail gets the job done. Already the Dragonlance complete.
He's pretty farmed. That was all from amazing last hitting in the mid lane.
When TA is this far ahead of an anti-mage and you've picked up Magnus, you've maxed in power pretty early, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, do they even have late game at this point?
I mean, it's not looking amazing, that's for sure. Anti-mage is matching the same farm as Lifestealer, but TA is a whole like 40-50% ahead of that. And AM doesn't have his typical farm items. Like when Mag is dead, look at him farming creeps. It's so bad. It takes like 5 hits to kill one creep. Normally it's like 6-7 hits, you kill the whole wave.
I can just imagine how much Black must have been gritting his teeth to build a Vanguard and a Yasha on anti-mage.
Well, I'm sure he was smiling the first time he got ganked, but
yeah.
The second time, it's like, oh, no problem.
Oh god. Wait. So this could be the big timing for them. They have the Manta now. All their problem is, like, who is the great mana void target here? Lion only 550 mana. Io up at 780. There's like a TA is the best target with 900, but or 800, but you're not realistically going to remove all that mana in most fights.
Absolutely true.
So there's no Storm Spirit, there's no Tinker, there's like no ticking time bomb on EG, it seems.
And they got to start taking fights, but I think EG is just going to avoid it. I mean, there's a Magnus, and there's a Warlock, and there's an Undying. Those are 3 great team fight heroes. If EG just doesn't want to fight, they don't have to. Spread out your heroes. They're all pretty survivable, at least with the TA and the Lifestealer. They can push the lanes, and then the rest of the heroes on the map will just avoid fights or try to pop smokes.
Oh, they walk right past the TA trap. I think Black just got spotted. Go back to farming, but again, look at the spread from EG. RTZ pushing out the mid lane. Universe was just farming the jungle. They were pushing bottom with Sumail, so they're spreading a little bit, but Faceless skanked down the drain, not getting to use those big teamfight ultimates and whiffing on their ganks.
I love where Sumail's putting all the Psionic traps. It's also all very common farm places for a lot of Faceless side heroes. Their Ancients, Roshan Pit, the first large camp close to their base, all places that you would farm if you were a little scared or wanted to farm on your side of the map. So just using that information, knowing where Black is, they'll be better at countering split push, knowing when their opponents are setting up for it, or knowing where the rest of the heroes might be. It's just allowing them to take this information and then avoid fights like they want to anyways.
I mean, I'm just wondering at what point Faceless are able to take that fight, because you've got an Assault Cuirass nearly complete for RTZ, Desolator almost done for Sumail, or sorry, not Desolator, the Daedalus almost done for Sumail.
Really? Oh god.
Crystal is already coming out, so well underway to that. And meanwhile, Epicenter in the mid lane is RTZ against. They dropped the rock, but already too late. Now the relocate arrives. EG, all of a sudden, you thought they wanted to farm. Well, you were wrong, sir. 4 down. Golem about to drop as well. The lone survivor. Sad man who hates magic.
Wow, that fight looked so one-sided. The Blink Epicenter started things off very well, and then the relocate in the perfect position, just one-shotting every hero on the way. And the best part is that I'll go straight back to the top lane just to keep pushing the wave and getting farm. He's 3-0-8, by the way. It's a little ball of light. I don't know how that happens, but I think he could carry at this point.
Well, Faceless, not only did they lose the fight, but they blew the golem. So now you're looking at over 2 minutes, even now, where there's no hope of them taking that team fight.
Just didn't farm nearly as well. This is just really one of the things that Sumail's amazing at. He always gets at least as much farm as his opponent, oftentimes more, and this was an extreme example of it. And he turned it into ganks, and he turned it into map pressure. Whereas on Magnus's side, I feel like all we really saw out of him was some empower on his anti-mage, and other than that, we saw some semi-unsuccessful ganks that's put him in this bad spot.
And we saw this style of play, I think most notably, if you go back to Team Secret, at like the Shanghai Major, where they would do it with Ember, they would run, I think it was Misery playing offlane for them at the time, and Puppy even said in an interview, like, yeah, we just picked Magnus for Empower. Like, the rest is just a bonus. If you hit a good RP, if you hit the skewer, that's okay if it's your offlaner, but when you're giving him more farm priority in the mid lane, and then on top of that, anti-mage isn't going Battle Fury build, you can't really rely on him to necessarily be that solo carry unless you find the team fights.
So can I find Arteezy? Looks like they're going to pass a little bit. Nighttime vision, not good enough here. It's a very close attempt. They could have interrupted this with an RP, but passed the creep wave to find him. So that would have been pretty big there.
Would have been, could have been, but not. Kind of the story for Faceless here.
And ETP's in the mid lane now, infested on the Sand King. They're ready to take a fight.
They do finally have a blink on the Nyx. Maybe this could be the start of something promising, but that's only if Universe doesn't get the first jump, but he's got the blink. The first as well.
Ooh, they used Manta mid, actually. Trying to stun Sumail, that would have been a big pick, but still has Aegis even if he goes down. They'd have to do that twice.
Data is complete. Look at these AM illusions. They're 3 shots for him, and that's without the crits.
I've never seen them so worthless looking, but do not look strong right now.
Yeah, okay. Black lucky for the uphill miss there.
I was gonna say, it's like, well, he has evasion already.
Well, there used to be a tower here. Blake skewer off the mark. Nice 4-step, but Universe just scoop and Templar away. And now back to the melee racks. Where's for the team fight? There's the counter runs off. Ice. He finds 2, but the counter burrow is there. And immediately Black's gonna drop. Still Sumail, very healthy, has the Aegis to boot. They shred up the Undying. Zombie down. EG. Just cruising. Faceless looking absolutely lost. They don't have their carry. Yeah, they've got the double ultimate. No mana for it now as Jabs will lob out another shockwave, and that's a lane of Rax.
Yeah, I think
straight on for more kills.
Saved by the little, what's it called again? The buildings?
The little buildings. The huts.
Dudes on it, yeah.
Effigies.
He tanked an attack there. Did you see that? Big was like. That's why they're there, guys.
That's their secret purpose. Nice frogs in the defense.
They're just so behind you. The only way that initiation worked is if they also RP the backline at the same time, because instantly the burst strike came from Sand King to stop the chain damage on Sumail and kept his Aegis alive.
I'm still checking these heroes. Like, no one even has 1,000 mana. Cool. Let alone that much missing.
The issue is they have to try. That's all they can do. And
if EG's smart, they just, like, the Lifestealer hits buildings, TA's out in front, and then way behind them are the 3 supports. So how do you get that Dream RP, that Dream?
They didn't even want to mess around with 2 people. They've been using TA the whole time to hit it, just because with Hurricane Pike, his attack range is actually fairly normal, 520. That's almost a regular ranged hero. So he gets to hit it, he's got the Aegis, he's got refraction that is, and eventually all the barracks fall just because he does so much damage.
Oh, it's not looking great for Faceless, Kevin. Now a 25,000 gold deficit, 20,000 experience, and I mean, again, their team fight is amazing, but AM as a carry, you mentioned it, he's not known for dealing well with heavy physical DPS in the late game. Normally, if he has an edge, it's because like he can just chain dash someone with an Abyssal, but Faceless, well, that thought gonna make a move here, and Sumail blinks right into them. He sees X-Fight, he strikes them immediately. This is the perfect setup on him. Zai doesn't actually have to relocate, but Sumail survives. He's no mana left to burn. He's still chunking them down, tanking through the illusions, kills off the tombstone, not even scratched, and this is only life number 1. They've already lost 3. G freaking G. The Sumail train, it has no brakes.
It is, man, that was just a really one-sided game. Faceless looking completely outmatched here.
I mean, that's just the day at the office for EG.